Hello, episode 6 of my inventory project. Lots of progress since the last video. As I stated in the first video, this is not a tutorial, so I will go through some of the code. I'm not going to go through it in massive detail because there's a huge amount of it. If anyone is following along and wants to know what weapon pack I'm using at the moment, it's this one from the marketplace. It's a really good weapon pack. There's meshes for each weapon, each individual bullet, and also their clips, magazines. And along with that, there's lots of particle effects as well. So it's like the muzzle flashes, tracer ammo, explosions, and various things like that. So it gives you everything you need really for a weapon pack. Sounds as well, yeah. So it's got the firing sounds, the reload sounds, and a bunch of others. So yeah, I highly recommend this for prototyping stuff at the very least. So into the action. I'll quickly show you how I've got it set up. So I've got these ammo drops. I'm going to change how I pick these up slightly because I've got this little one here, and it's a pain to actually point at it accurately. Bunch of weapons. Let's grab a couple of different ones. Right, so here's our inventory. The layout of this right-hand side isn't finalised yet. Obviously, it's all a bit spread out. It doesn't need to be. So we click on what we want to equip, and it tells us we can equip it there or there. Pistols, equip on the hips. So let's equip a couple of pistols, a shotgun, a sniper rifle. So at the moment, I'm having to click over here, then over here to equip it. What I am going to do is do like a right-click function. So I right-click and it will come up with a load of options. So I can right-click and drop it, right-click and unload it, and right-click and equip it. It's a bit more intuitive that way. But it does work. And there we are. She's looking a bit badass now. That sniper rifle model is huge. It looks a bit obscene, but... Other functionality, we can swap weapons. So if you see in the image here, I can swap the shotgun for the sniper rifle. It swaps it on the back. If there's something in our inventory we want to swap, that works as well. So we can swap the assault rifle for the sniper rifle. Oh, that was wrong. There we go. And also we can drop directly from equipped stuff. We can throw these on the floor. So what I'm going to do to the locations where all these snap to on the body, I'm going to add a variable, like a location and a rotation variable. Because at the moment, I'll show you with the sniper rifle, I think that's a good example. The little gap in the body there where it's connecting, it's not quite connecting to her. But if I put the rocket launcher on, it's kind of embedded in her back. So I'll be able to adjust exactly how they snap per item. And also the rotation as well, because if I import a model that doesn't have the same rotation as these models, they're all rotated the same in this pack, but if I create my own things and they're not rotated the same, then it's going to be sticking out in weird directions on her back and on her hips and things. So I'll show you the code. To start with, in the mannequin skeleton, I created a bunch of sockets. So you just find the bone, right click, and then create a socket. There. So I've got one for each side of the hip and one for each side of the back. And set the names. Those names are important, and I think it is case sensitive as well. So if you use them later in one of your blueprints, make sure that you've got the exact spelling. I come in here and just copied and pasted it just to make sure. In the pickup struct, we've added an enumerator called equip location. So we check this later to see if they can equip to that area, so like the hips or the back or anywhere else as well. So you'll see inside that enumerator. I've got quite a few set up. Currently, I'm only using back and hip, but the code, once I've got items that will actually snap to these locations, will automatically work. It's all set up for everything. In our inventory widget, there's not a lot changed here. In fact, it's only one thing, and that's dropping items. So I've had to put this little thing in place because when I first set this up, if you dropped something that was currently equipped, it would drop something on the floor, but you'd still have something equipped to your back anyway. So I've had to make sure that if you click drop and you've got the item selected that's equipped, it will check if it's equipped first. So equip slot variable checks if it's valid, and if it does, it sends a message to the equip button to say unequip this item. So it does that, and then that sends a message back saying, okay, ready to drop it now. Then it'll do the normal drop sequence that we set up previously. Now, inventory item, so this is the thing that actually shows up in the inventory on the left hand side and moves. No code, we've just set up a variable, equipped slot, which gets set later. This is the area where all the equip buttons are. So the equip buttons themselves are a widget separately, and the actual box that contains these is its own widget. So I've set it up like that because there will be a widget switcher eventually that switches between a few different equip areas. And I've set these as their own widgets, so a few reasons actually. It means I don't have to write the code for every single button individually. So I can just write it within one widget and it works for all of them. And also I'm going to have it so you can pick up like a holster. So if you have a holster with like one holster on, then you'll be able to equip one thing to your hip. And if you have a holster with two on, you've got two equip slots. So that's the reasons I put it together like this. For now, all this does is it sets a bunch of variables in those equip slots. These variables will be set inside whatever equipment you pick up, like the holster, for example. They'll be set in there, but I needed somewhere to set them, so I've set them in here for now. And the equip button, this is where all the action happens. So this is the actual button you press to equip something, so the thing that says equip or swap or unequip, this is the code for that. This is where most of the stuff happens. There's a lot going on, but each individual thing is very simple. And I started off this end. So this bottom row, that's all the code for actually equipping something, and the top row is all the code for unequipping it. So you press the button, it will come in and check if you've got an inventory item selected. If you've selected something in your inventory, this checks it. If you haven't, we don't do anything. If you have, then we check if it's actually equipable. So the equip locations in the item and the equip location for this equip button, we'll compare them. If it's not equipable, if that's not equal, then we do nothing. I've put a little print string saying cannot equip. If they are the same, if we can equip it, then it'll set a couple of variables. This one is within the item itself, a reference to this widget. It's just saying or telling that item where it is equipped. And then we do the opposite. So we tell this widget what it has equipped. Add child. So we're adding that button, taking it away from the left-hand side of the inventory and putting it in the equip slot. So that's all pretty straightforward and pretty simple. That's all we need to move that item from this side to that side of the inventory. And then spawning the actual actor to attach to our player. So we get the mesh, we get the relevant equip socket, get the transform for it, and spawn the actor in that location. Then we set another variable, saying equipped actor now. So we know what to destroy when we need to unequip it, and we know what to use and whatever. We set its mesh's collision to no collision. Joining two actors together with collision enabled on both can throw up some weird errors. And then attach actor to component. The component is our mesh. The socket name we know, and the equipped actor is the thing we want to attach. Weld simulated bodies, so they stay together. And then we clear some variables. The inventory item selected, so we have no inventory item selected now. So that's everything for equipping it. Unequipping is, well, it's pretty much the opposite. So equipped actor, we destroy it. The button that's over here, we remove it. And then this is pretty much copy and pasted from the inventory widget. So when we're adding an item to our inventory, this is what we do. We get the inventory scroll array and then find out what sort of item type it is from the pickup struct and add it to the relevant inventory page. So a weapon will go back into the weapons page and so on. And there we are, adding that as a child. And then we're clearing a bunch of variables again. So that's everything for equipping and unequipping. Now, all the rest of it, all this lot, is kind of the what ifs. So what if we're equipping something to a slot that already has something equipped? What if we're trying to drop an item that is equipped? What if we're trying to equip an item that is already equipped itself? And all those sorts of questions. That's what this sorts out. So we can start off asking, is this item already equipped? So we'll get the item. We'll check the variable equip slot, which is set when we equip the thing over here. So yeah, get the item, check its equip slot, and is it valid? And if it is valid, then it's already equipped. If it's not valid, we know it's not equipped. So if it is already equipped, we'll come up here and we will fire this message off. Move equip slot message. It's a custom event. Now, this custom event will fire this. So this message will fire this custom event. It kind of looks like that you could just plug this straight into there. But this and this are happening in two separate widgets. So if the item is already equipped, it's already in a slot, and we're clicking on a separate, different slot now. So we're sending this message to the original slot that it's in currently. I hope that makes sense. It took me a while to figure this bit out. It's only a small piece of code. So we send that message to the slot that it's currently equipped in. We destroy the actor, so it takes it off our back or off our hip, wherever it is. We remove the button from the parent and unset a variable. And once we've done that, we'll just go to the normal equip execution path. So yeah, that just removes it from its previous equip place. So back to the normal execution path. So whether it's previously equipped or it's a brand new equip, it will go along here. Then we'll check if where we're trying to equip it to already has something equipped. So it will be this widget. So we look in the equipped actor slot. Does it have something equipped here? Is that valid? If it is valid, then we have something here. So we'll come up here. We'll ask, are we trying to unequip or swap items? It will know this. So if you have an item in your inventory selected and you're trying to equip to a slot that has something equipped, then you want to swap things. If you don't have anything selected in your inventory, then and you click in on a slot that has something equipped, then you want to unequip that thing. So that's what this is doing. If we want to unequip, we just go straight to the unequip section. If we want to swap, then things get a little more complicated. So first of all, the swap. Can we equip the item? For example, the inventory item selected it's looking at, it could be an apple. and you're clicking on equip for like your back where your sniper rifle is. So this will check that first, and if you can't equip it, then it won't do anything. If you can equip it, then it does all this. Sometimes I put a sequence in just to help my brain figure things out, and this is one of those occasions. I don't think it really needed a sequence, but it helped me keep everything organised. These valid checks are just there to stop errors throwing up. So first of all, I set a couple of variables. So this is the item that is equipped in that slot. So currently we're swapping a weapon. We've got something selected, and there's something in the equip slot, and we want to swap them. So this gets where this saves that previous weapon, the one that's in the area that we want to access. And this gets the slot that previous weapon was in as well. So it saves both of those. Then we remove that other weapon, get it out of the way. Then we add the new weapon to that slot, normal equipping. Then we add the previous weapon, the one we've moved, to its new home. So this will just set the variables for what we need to add and fire off this custom event, which will just do the normal execution path. Again, the reason why I've done a custom event here rather than just connecting that straight up to there is because this is happening in a different widget. So you can see here, previous equip slot, that's where that's happening. And that's everything. So it took me a long time to come up with this. Even though everything is quite simple, this part especially, where it's filtering out different kind of what ifs, that was a bit of a chore. There's probably easier ways to do this, but it does work, so I'm well chuffed with it. The only other part was the text. So if we have a look at the text in the equip slots, they change. So I can equip it to those locations and pick up a pistol. And I can equip that to those locations. And then if I equip something there, it now says unequip. If I select that, it'll say swap. So that's the only other thing I set up, which is here. And this is pretty straightforward. We've got inventory item selected and inventory item equipped, and we just compare them in various ways to try and figure out what we're trying to do. So if we've got something selected and it can be equipped in that slot, and there's something equipped, then we know we want to be swapping it, for instance. If we've got an item selected and there's nothing in that slot, we know we just want to equip. So it'll just change the text based on a comparison of those two variables. And they can be compared in a bunch of ways and gives us 4 possibilities. Right, that's it for this episode. Next, excuse me, I was just going to build an inventory and then move on to something else. But I've quite enjoyed what I'm doing right now, so I'm going to carry on with this project. But it's not going to be an inventory project anymore. I've got weapons now. The inventory is more or less finished, just a few little tweaks to do. But I want to start firing those weapons now. I want to start drawing them and shooting them and all the fun stuff. So I think from now on, it's not really going to, strictly speaking, be an inventory project. It's just going to be a bit of an everything project. So yeah, next episode we'll be drawing some guns and making some explosions. All right, thanks for watching.